It is time, baby. It's court day. I'm really excited for this court day. Hello, everybody. How's it going? I'm very excited for this court day. I think it is going to be the last court day of this case. We haven't had a case go 3 days in a while, right? I know that in the Ace Attorney world, 3 days is the max that a trial can go. I don't know if any of them went 3 days in the second game. Maybe one did. I can't remember off the top of my head. I can't remember. But what I do know is that none of them so far have been 3 days. And this one is only on day 2. Although it is a retrial, so I guess you could say like day 5 technically. But this one's only on day 2. But from everything that I see, and from everything that I understood in the story and the way that the characters are interacting with each other, it really does seem like this is the final stretch for this case. So it's today's court day, and assuming that this wraps up, that means we've got one more case in the third game, and then we're done with the Phoenix Wright trilogy, which is kind of crazy to think about. Not much of a yap session to start it off. I don't know how long this is going to be. The last investigation session was very long. It took me 2 streams, and they were like 2 pretty long streams. Like 4 hours in total to get through the last investigation session. So I do wonder how long this court session's going to be. Probably much longer unless I can get myself into gear. But I'm excited. I'm excited. I've enjoyed this case so far. I really have. January 8th, 9:46 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. Hello, Setsuna. How's it going? Happy, what day is it? I genuinely don't know. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a good week. Good morning, Mr. Wright. Before we get into things, what you'll need to know. We met a couple of new characters. We got some information on some other characters. We met Lisa Basil. She is the boss of the victim, Glen Elg. We also got more information on our friend Violetta, who's actually named Viola Cadavarini, the granddaughter of one of the biggest and most powerful crime bosses in the Ace Attorney world, Bruto Cadavarini. With that said, it seems like Furio Tigre, our Phoenix Wright imposter, caused an accident that had a very bad injury to Viola, and he needed the money to pay it off, or else Bruto was gonna have his head. So, that's where we're at for a motive. Glen Elg won the lottery, and this guy took him out. However, he took him out with what appears to be the help of Viola Cadavarini, because Viola thought that he liked her, thought that they were cool. The tiger, he don't like her. He is just using her to do his dirty deeds. Now that I'm saying all of this out loud, it does seem like there's a lot that's going to come out in this court case. Maybe today isn't the final day, but I'm like pretty sure it is. We also got Viola's medical papers, thanks to Detective Gumshoe, because the tiger was going to steal them from us and essentially beat us up until we said, actually, Gumshoe came in and said, no, they're taking those papers to go, please. And then Gumshoe fought him off so brave. Thank you, Gumshoe. I don't know why we got another lunchbox of weenies, but maybe that'll come into play somehow in the trial. Gumshoe gave us another one. Trebian matches. The radio program about the lottery. MC Bomber, we learned, is the name of a virus that was sold on the black market worth millions of dollars. And we learned that Glen Elg made this virus to sell because he was also in debt from horse racing. There's a lot going on here. We still don't really know what happened to his prescriptions or anything like that, but I'm sure all of that is going to be covered. Good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Maggie. So, What do you think's gonna happen today, sir? Yesterday's session didn't go so well and ended on a giant mystery. That's true, and we still haven't solved a single part of it yet. Are you okay, Nick? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes. Who, me? No, you must be seeing things. That wasn't doubt. That was, determination. Why don't I believe you? Maybe because Phoenix isn't the best liar. It's nearly time, Maggie. You'd better get going to the defendant's seat. Roger. Don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you. Hey, pal. Gumshoe! He lived! Well, that's good. I was a little worried about him after he faced off with Furio Tigre. He seems to be in, well, spirits. I wouldn't say they're good spirits. Hey, pal. Hey, detective. Quit stressing Maggie out. She don't need that. How did you know she was stressed? Well, Phoenix, she is on trial for murder. I can't imagine she's very relaxed. I was watching through the doorway. Oh, you look like you lost the case already. Show a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Here, maybe this'll help. Oh, what is this, Gumshoe? Have you taken up aromatherapy, too? Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me that you don't remember this thing. Come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. This is the small bottle that turned up in Trebien's kitchen a couple days ago. Okay. I forgot about that. Look at all these little bottles. They're aromatherapy oils. But there's one bottle that's different from all the others. And it didn't have a label. So Gumshoe ran some tests on it, I guess? It doesn't smell. What is it? We finally got the analysis results back from the lab. So, what is it? Is it the poison? I'm afraid not, pal. It's medication. Perhaps the missing medication? Medication? Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently. Interesting, because if you remember, we found the victim, Glen Elg's prescription bag, but it was empty. And so the prosecution was saying that he had already used the medicine. Very interesting. For ears? You mean, yeah, it's the medication Glen Elg was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glen Elg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? Small bottle refiled into the court record. The victim's ear medicine found covered in unidentified fingerprints in the kitchen. What about the fingerprints? Anything on that? Someone screwed up, so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Another hour, and they might have gotten something on the prints, but... that's gonna weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Okay, pal. This is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today. Got it? Roger that, buddy. I'm on it. Today's trial. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done, or my name isn't Phoenix Wright. January 8th, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 4. I've been drinking water, actually. I've been really good about my water intake lately, Setsuna. I think I probably had, like, close to a gallon today. I try to drink, like, at least one bottle after every meal. And then while I work, I'm drink 2. I'm on my health grind right now. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Byrne. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ready and waiting as always, Your Honor. Very good. Then we'll get underway at once. Yesterday, we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank from it with his right hand. But according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left hand. Thank you, Mr. Godot. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, the victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear. It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick? Yeah, that usually happens when there's some sussy stuff going on in the background. May I also remind you that the old man, Victor Kudo, he said that the other person in the cafe was a guy, but we later learned that it was a girl because we know it's Viola Cadaverini. So who did the old man see? Or is he actually just losing it? Yeah, I guess it could be either. Ha! Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world, you see, keeps turning, and we must turn with it. You've lost me already, Mr. Godot. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You've got to change with the times. That's one of my rules. Are you implying that you've resolved these contradictions? I'm willing to hear it. You know the answers to these riddles? The old guy wasn't just throwing seed in here. He was throwing us off the scent. And today I'll prove it. Very well. Why don't we ever get to make a cool opening statement like that? We always just say, "The defense is ready, Your Honor." I feel like we should monologue. That was a really good opening statement. It provided no info, but damn was it cool. Let the first witness take the stand. Who is it today? Oh, it's Armstrong. And you are? Oh, bonjour, everyone. I am Jean Armstrong, the owner and the head chef of La Tribulations restaurant. Is that so? Forgive me for asking, witness, but are you a woman? Oh la la, monsieur. As you can see, I am la pert and perky gentleman, no? On the day of the incident, you were in Tribulations' kitchen. Isn't that right? Oh my gosh, am I gonna have to speak in the French accent the entire trial? No, dude. I was hoping he wouldn't take the stand. With you, monsieur. Everything feels right. How many cups is that? What's his rule? 17 cups of coffee and the trial comes to an end? Ha! Wow, he is totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy? Very well. Your testimony, please, witness. Please tell the court what happened that day at Tribulations. Oui, volontiers. Boom, boom. At Tribulations. When it all happened, there were 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new art decos that day. Like having a large mirror between la tables, for example. Oui, perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. La cup, la earpiece, la glasses. He would have seen everything in reverse, no? Oh, he's saying if he was looking at it through a mirror, the old man would have seen everything in reverse. An interesting theory if this guy wasn't also in on the crime. A mirror. Oui, a grand mirror. La most enormous mirror. You can't possibly be that satisfied with that testimony. Come on. And suddenly, the mystery disappears. Does it? I feel like it really doesn't. Like I said, the world keeps turning, so roll with it. That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front. God, the judge is so gullible, bro. It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. I feel like this one isn't that hard to pick apart, but alas, I won't speak before I act. When it all happened, there were 2 customers in my restaurant. And who were the two customers exactly? My, of course, the young man who died, and the other not-so-young man. You're referring to yesterday's witness, I presume? What about the other man Maggie says she saw? At the table, something tells me Mr. Armstrong isn't planning to disclose his existence. We need some hard evidence before we can bring him up, don't we? I guess I'll just have to try a different approach for the time being. This guy is so guilty. I remember I was experimenting with some new art decor? Is this supposed to say decor? Hold it. You were experimenting with art deco? How come I never heard about that before today? You are not familiar with the language of interior design, monsieur. Please stay on topic. Now, why didn't you tell the court about this before? But I did, just a few moments ago. Excuse me, Mr. Armstrong. This deco you mentioned, you were referring to some sort of decoction? No, art deco, I think it's a decor, Your Honor. That's the best way to explain what's going on here. It's French. He's talking about interior design. Walls, ceilings, carpets, that kind of thing. Ah, of course. That deco. He doesn't get it. I was trying to achieve a more effeminate look for my restaurant. I was planning the most bold remodeling of la decor. Like having a large mirror between the tables, for example. Hold it right there, buddy. We did lose a lot of our health from the investigation yesterday that we didn't get back. That's tough. That means we're already starting in a hole. How big of a mirror are we talking about here? Well, something about 4 meters wide and, about 2 meters high. Let's see, if 1 meter's about 1 yard. Holy glass in a frame, that's huge. I was intending to install it on the ceiling eventually. The ceiling? Was there a mirror on the ceiling? I don't think that. Seems really dangerous, no? My, no. But I decided not to go through with it in the end. What should I do? Should I ask him more about the mirror or not? Press harder. In fact, I would love to see the mirror if he's actually telling the truth. If you really had such a large mirror in the restaurant, someone would have noticed it. But there's nothing about a mirror in Mr. Kudo or Maggie Bird's testimonies. But, objection! You didn't ask, Trite. You have only yourself to blame for such sloppy work. What? A mirror was delivered to Tribulations the day before the incident. That's brutal. As Mr. Armstrong testified, he was carrying out some design changes. And as it turned out, he didn't actually use the mirror in the end. This just doesn't add up. Even if a mirror was delivered to Tribulations, it doesn't prove that it was in the restaurant on the day of the crime. Huh. If you want to doubt someone, Trite, look in the mirror. I see what you did there. I'm sure the person looking back at you will be dubious enough. Excuse you? So the witness yesterday had seen the victim reflected in a mirror. Perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. Normally, I'd expect people to know the difference between a reflection and a real object. Normally. How does normality come into this? To be fair, Victor Kudo, the witness from yesterday, not the most normal dude. That's lame, Trite. Even for you. Huh? Are you trying to say that if something isn't normal, it isn't possible? Is that it? Where does that leave the porky-headed lawyer, the top-knot chick over there, and the ungodly cool guy with the mask over here? Well, Trite. All right. I mean, a little full of yourself, no? I do not have a top knot. You tell him, Maya. And your mask looks dumb. Mr. Godot is correct. A lack of normality is no basis for discounting an argument. Bien. Logic has won the day. La cup, la earpiece, and la glasses. He would have seen everything in the reverse, no? Hold it. Everything. He would have seen everything in reverse. Oui. Hey, Nick. We should take a second. Think about what old CD said in his testimony. How did he phrase it again? The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. So even if it was flipped, it would be the same side. And in this photo, the earpiece is over his left eye. No question. You can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear without a doubt. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand. All of this mirrored would be the same. He wouldn't mistake the left hand and the right earpiece, right? If he saw everything he described reflected in a mirror, then everything he said he saw on the left was actually on the right, huh? Correct. And that clears up all the problems with his testimony, I guess. Or does it? Ha! It's kind of hard to believe everything's the fault of a mirror, but do you think old CD saw everything through a reflection? If he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony. But that just makes the situation worse for Maggie. There's got to be something in that old man's testimony. We've just got to dig deeper. Okay, so I think this last piece... Actually, I'm going to save here. Now that we've gotten everything we need. Because we are going to start submitting. The cup, the earpiece, and the glasses, he would have seen everything in reverse. No. The problem is, he is still wearing this over his left eye. Objection. Hey, that's pretty good start, huh? The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question. Left ear, without a doubt. So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in a mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. Exactement. You see, monsieur. Now that you think about it, it is not so hard, no. Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. Phoenix, if Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? Brought his A game today. Order! Order! Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we would expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over his right eye. Objection! Oh, he's very confident still. How bitter. Trite, you should have a taste of this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time. Are we talking about your coffee or something completely different? You don't understand the way the witness thinks. And you do? How he thinks. You remember this, I presume. The I broke the vase, sorry, apology letter. I mean, Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony. Exactly. The old man has one very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elg? Clearly, it's the victim's eyepiece. And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. Elg's HMD made a big impression on the old man. Boom, boom, boom. I saw the earpiece and those newfangled spectacles he was wearing. Hello, Citrus. Welcome in. You are just in time. It's getting good. It's getting good. Hope you had a nice weekend. Oh, yes. They were both on his left ear, do you hear? His left ear. Ha, was that his Victor Kudo impression? Well, Trite. That's the worst but best impression of Kudo ever. It was. Wow, I really thought he was old CD for a minute there. Kudo is good. Enough. I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony. Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of a contradiction you found is just a rash. A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court. We're all ears. Oui, I can explain. Please, if you will look at the plans of the restaurant. Witness testimony, the mirror. If we look at the plans of the restaurant. Hello, is everyone sitting comfortably? La mirror. It was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves, right here. The mirror's here? Okay, odd spot for a mirror and terrible decor, but I digress. There is only one seat from which you could have seen an image of the victim. Right here. Witness. That's Kudo. That was the seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else. Interesting. I see no problems with the explanation we have just heard. I might see a few. It doesn't say where Kudo was sitting on the floor plan, does it? I don't see a mirror here at the crime photo, but he's just going to say that he moved it after the fact. I think the biggest problem, if I'm remembering correctly... I think I need to hear his testimony again. Something's not adding up. It's on the tip of my tongue. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror. What a naughty little coquette I am, confusing all the men like this. What? Don't worry about it. I don't know what this guy says half the time. We can keep up, except for the guy breaking out in a cold sweat over there again. Ooh, me? Sorry, it's just a little hot in here. You said you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. That's what it was. Didn't he touch the vase? Do we have an actual photo of the crime scene? Because there was a vase. Are you quite sure about that? Volunteer, of course. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please. I feel like I'm on the right path. I just don't know what to present. You didn't touch anything? I feel like that's not true. Because he also took... Didn't he also take a lottery ticket? He just took the wrong one? We'll get there. We'll get there. So, run this by me again. Because this is insane. Actually, putting a mirror here to run this by me again. The mirror was here, correct? We? Really? Because I know if I were you, I wouldn't have put a mirror there. It would just be in the way. Objection. Look who's talking, trite. Huh? You're obstructing my view, among other things. But this is my seat in the courtroom. I missed quite literally everything dealing with finals, but finally done, so back to hanging around. Well, congrats on finishing finals. I hope they went well. No worries. Ugh. Trebien's charm is that it gives you the impression that you're the only customer. I don't think it's an impression that you're the only customer. I think if you go to Trebien Gato, you are the only customer. Doesn't seem like anyone really goes there. Temporarily placing a mirror in that spot would hardly be in the way. Unlike you, Trey. I tell you, monsieur, the mirror was there in the middle of the restaurant. There is only one seat from which you could have seen an image of the victim. And where would that be? Oh la la, look how you lean towards me. I always attract the younger boys. Maybe I should keep you in suspense a little longer. Mr. Armstrong, tell the court what you know at once. I attract the older ones too, you know, handsome. Oh, shall I tease you? Your Honor, that's all you. I'm already seeing a very hot someone, so I'm afraid you'll be waiting for a long time. Godot? Does Godot have a lady? I didn't know you had game like that. I'm not surprised. Look at that. Look at that jawline. I bet she has mocha cream skin and cappuccino perfume. Bien, I will tell you. There was only one seat from which you could have seen. That was the seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. So why can you only see the victim from that particular seat? It is obvious, no? If you look at the plans, you will understand. The victim could have been reflected in the mirror like so. I'm trying to think, would that even put the earpiece in the left-hand side? This wouldn't do anything. Hang on. Would this make it fly? I don't know enough about how mirrors work off the top of my head. I guess I could go get one. But I don't think, would it flip his face like that? I feel like if you're seeing it from this angle, you're still going to see the earpiece in his left ear. Right? I don't know. Maybe not. If you were sitting at the table next to him, you would see everything, no? So that's the seat old Seedy was sitting in on that day, when the poisoning happened. The old man was sitting at the table next to the victim? Why does that seem kind of odd? Why does that seem kind of odd? It seems kind of odd because there's no one there. Well, I guess if this was a crime scene photo, someone's gonna be gone. But it also doesn't look like this was touched. Right? It doesn't look like anyone was sitting there. After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. Did you move the mirror while Mr. Kudo was off calling the police? Oui, exactement. I carried it out of the restaurant then. You moved a huge mirror like that all by yourself. What can I say? I know how to pick things up, handsome. Godot actually laughed at something. Someone introduce this guy to Mo if he wants some jokes. Well, given the witness's physique, I suppose it is possible. Did you move anything else from the crime scene, Mr. Armstrong? I look like the obliging type, no? This case is so freaky just because of Armstrong. There's a lot. No, don't. Victor Kudo is also pretty creepy towards the gals, no? He went to the restaurant strictly because of the uniforms. So I'd say he's just as much to blame. I did not touch anything else. Are you sure about that? I touched nothing except the mirror. Mr. Wright, is there something the witness has said that doesn't match the crime scene? Yeah, there is. I just can't put my finger on what exactly. Ha! Suffering from a case of heartburn, Trite? Oh, I have just the thing for that. In oil with golden myrrh and frankincense. I don't want your pyramid scheme fragrances. Add a few drops to your coffee and voila, enjoy. Focus, Phoenix. Breathe. I need to ignore those two and just find some evidence. Phoenix has had enough. It is pretty strange though, isn't it? I mean, nobody mentioned anything about a really large mirror. You'd think someone would have, but Maggie didn't, and neither did old Seedy. And the only logical explanation is that there was no mirror inside Tribulations that day. Now I've just got to prove it. Somehow. How can we prove that there was no mirror? Wait. No, that wouldn't work. When the incident occurred, I broke the vase at my seat. At my seat. And the vase is still there. And this would have been his seat. Oh, found it. Okay. Cool, I'm on one today. I'm on a roll. Okay. Now, what's the best thing to object with that? There's only one seat which you could have seen. The seat at the table next to the victims. After the terrible incident, I moved the mirror, but naturally, I did not touch anything else. I feel like this also could be objected to with the crime scene photo. Because if Victor broke this, then obviously he would have had to fix it before the photo was taken. But I do think that that's probably not the best one. That was the seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. I feel like I can object to it here. I moved the mirror so it wasn't in the way. There's only one seat from which you could have seen an image of the victim. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one. That was the seat at the table next to the victims, where the old man was sitting. I don't know. I hope this works. I really hope this works. Because I feel like it's right. Yes! Okay. This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we've heard, Your Honor. We're getting straight to the point. The crime photo? Yes. This photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. Oh, come on, baby. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Shouldn't exist. Ha, sounds like you're describing yourself, Trite. Rude. Now then, if the defense would please clarify its statement. What is the something that should not exist in this photo? Well, if Victor Kudo was sitting here, seeing the crime through a mirror, he also admitted that upon leaving, he broke the vase, and the vase is very clearly still intact here. I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not be in the picture. The vase? What possible connection does that have with this witness's testimony? Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on this table, because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence, Victor's testimony saying he broke the vase. There's one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there's an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why is that? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all. Sit him down, Phoenix. Sit him down and take him to school. Oh, he's mad. Don't be an idiot, Trite. That's impossible. That seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from. Exactly. There's only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Tribulations that day at all. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie. Oh, we got him. Objection. Don't try to confuse the court, Trite. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase. He said he didn't touch anything, while the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene. Objection. Unfortunately, Mr. Godot, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary. In his own words, I did not touch anything else except the mirror. Urgh. Oh, he's short-circuiting. Oh, he's down to the whole cup. Godot is canonically my husband, guys. Back off. He's mine. He's cool. I want to see under the mask. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear in which he couldn't hear? Ha! You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, Trite, first save your game in case you get it wrong and lose your hit points. Then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, then I'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Are you going to be okay? No. Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick? Maybe. There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us. There was another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. Mr. Kudo made a mistake, the ear doctor made a mistake, or the victim was a phony? Wait. Mr. Kudo, I don't know if he made a mistake. I feel like we're past that point. The ear doctor made a mistake, which could be true. However, there is medication. The victim was a phony? Is that possible? Was the victim not Glen Elg? What if Glen faked his own death? Hang on, this is crazy. Okay, this is what I'm going with. This case is riddled with contradictions. Yet, there's one very simple answer that clears them all up. And what is that? The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events. Oh, Glen Elg did die, but then did they use a body double and quote-unquote fake the death so that they had a witness? And that's why nothing is adding up? Holy smokes. If that's the case, that is elaborate. What? Yeah, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Glen Elg at all. It was an imposter, a phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. Oh! That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. He doesn't seem convinced. Oh, okay, maybe he's caught more off guard than I thought. Order! Order in the court! Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom. Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here, huh? Your Honor, that's gotta be contempt of court. Don't let him speak to you like that. Grow a spine. Put him in his place. What did you say? That's what I'm talking about. Let him have it. Trite, are you saying that what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup? Yeah. Someone pretended to be Glen Elg and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo, and everyone called the old man insane. Objection. Get real, Trite. Why would anyone want to do that? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his testimony. The serving girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. That's the serving girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. So she did put something in the coffee. Sugar. She didn't poison him at all. It's hard to believe, but there was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee. Oh, this is crazy. Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but it's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening. That's right. Well, witness? Well, the chef is in on it, so that's unfortunate for you to hear, but if your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you would have known about it, correct? Correct, Armstrong? Oh la la, this is most difficult for me. No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath, after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Tribulations that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened. Wow, this is sick. The defense's request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the events in the restaurant that day. Oh, oui. Oh, he knows that he's screwed. La victim, Monsieur Elg, he came to my restaurant alone. Dude, when this music comes on, you know you're doing something right. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word he won the lottery, Elg became very excited, understandably so. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. No, there was no time for a phony to do the acting. Interesting. Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all? Forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly. That's a crime! That's a crime! You can't just... Your Honor, are we gonna let this slide? That's illegal. What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I will decide how to punish you later. Good! Good! Put your foot down for once. For now, we will hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please. This dude pisses me off, right? That's what I'm saying. He's like, my bad, Your Honor. I just wanted to go home. I didn't want to be here, so I made up an elaborate lie. Like, that's crazy, bro. He took that perjury charge a bit too well. Yeah, because he's trying to get off on perjury instead of murder. But I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. Here we go, in the restaurant. Or should I say, in la restaurant. La victim, Monsieur Elg, he came to my restaurant alone. Was he alone at his table as well? My, oui. I saw him from the kitchen. Yet the defendant, Ms. Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the victim's table. Oh! Objection! Huh. Unfortunately for you, Trite, yesterday's witness also testified that the victim was alone. You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite. What kind of coffee has he been drinking? It's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet. And hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. Oh, come on, don't be mean. Maya's smart. Kinda. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct? Oui, he comes often for my special coffee. I hate to break it to you, he comes for the maid uniforms. I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience. Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome any time. I said it was worth one sip and nothing more, because it's so bad. So old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. How many minutes after, or what time was it? What time was it? Because here's now what I'm trying to pin down, right? If he passed out 5 minutes after winning the lottery, well, we know that he died of poisoning between 1:30 and 2:30, and we also know that the lottery is held at 1:30. So, if we can get some time in there that's not 1:30, then that's a pretty big contradiction. Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? Oh no, I cannot remember, monsieur. I believe we were told by a witness yesterday. The crime was reported at 2:25 by a kind of scary old man, sir. Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness? The incident happened about 20 minutes after he arrived, so the victim must have arrived between 2 p.m. and 2:10 p.m. No? Just after 2, huh? Well, then he wouldn't have realized that he won the lottery there, right? Thank you for the help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful. Haha, I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? Well, that's what you do most of the day, but I guess a clock is right twice a day. The time of day will be added to the witness's testimony. That it will, that it will. Missy Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood. He's even humming a song to himself. Is he humming Tele Français? Tele Français, Tele Français, Tele Français. Je suis un ananas. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. Are you absolutely sure about the time? When I think really hard, I am sure it was just after 2. Oui, it is la time I stopped serving la lunch menu. Quite right. I always break for lunch when the restaurants are serving their specials. I've been known to wind up a case early just to make it on time. Your Honor. That's not something you should say out loud. Ha 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 ha, just a joke, right? Right? I guess you should never get between a hungry judge and his lunch. Would you look at that? It's almost lunchtime already. Sit down. We're not done here. Witness, get on with your testimony, please. There were no other customers. When he got word that he won the lottery, Mr. L became very excited. I would love to know about what time he became excited. Did you see him? No, I was in the kitchen, but I heard him. I remember him shouting, "Yes, $500,000! Presumably, the defendant heard that too then, correct? Maggie? She looked like a poor little frightened dove. And what about Mr. Kudo? The old man choked on some bird seeds that got stuck in his throat. It seems we now have yet another incident on our hands. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. And what were you doing at that point? Without any customers, you must have had time to kill. I am a multi-talented woman, monsieur. Sorry? What do you mean? There is le renowned chef, Jean Armstrong, and la tragic poet, Clarice Armstrong. Clarice? Oui, I was writing a poem, an angry tale of a chef in $500,000 of debt, cooking for a man who won $500,000 on la lottery. This is kind of incriminating, no? You want to talk about a motive? It is called Pourquoi. It means why. Perhaps I could recite it for the court. Please, please recite it. No. Let him recite it. I feel like this is just digging his own grave. There was no time for a phony to do la acting. You mean you contacted the police as soon as the incident occurred? I asked the old man to call from the payphone. By your own arguments, right? The purpose of this phony victim's performance was so the old man would see it. In other words, once the incident occurred, this opportunity would completely disappear. Indeed. Bien. It seems the shadow of a doubt has been lifted, n'est-ce pas? I guess Mr. Armstrong's connected to this case, huh? Yeah, for sure. Someone was impersonating Mr. Elg, and I refuse to believe he was oblivious. He was there the whole time, after all. But if you're right, wouldn't Maggie have noticed too? She fell unconscious when the incident occurred, remember? Ah, you mean that's when the phony staged his act. We'll know for sure once I find a hole in his testimony, and I think I found it. But there is one more thing that I want to press on, and it's this. So your only customers were Mr. Kudo and the victim. How many times do you need to ask the same thing, trite? You'd never catch me drinking the same blend twice. Why? Well, if you find a blend you like, Mr. Godot, there's nothing wrong with trying. I do it all the time. I just got new beans from Boston, and they're yummy. Huh? You're trying to establish the presence of a phony victim in the restaurant, but you're wasting your time. You can't grind birdseed to make coffee if you catch my drift. I don't. But there's a hole in his testimony somewhere, I'm sure of it. I remember the old man arrived not long after him, just after 2 p.m. What time does it say? Experience the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. Perfect. I was wondering, I was like, could they make the argument that they wouldn't, or that, you know, the show could take longer to announce the numbers? It is a 10-minute show. Drawing at 1:30, 1:40 at the latest is when he would have announced that he won. Times do not add up, Your Honor. I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. Quoi? What do you mean? At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers of the $500,000 lottery ticket. Oui, that must be le show, mon. Elg was listening too. Monsieur Elg, mon Elg, Monsieur, I see. I can't see any problem with this testimony, Mr. Wright. I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? Oui, I'm sure of it. I remember it perfectly. I know it was that time because I had just finished serving the lunch menu. Get to the point, Trite, if you have one. You're gonna want to put your coffee down for this one, Mr. Godot. That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m. and it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. It's on the air at 1:30? Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. Oh, he's picking up what we're putting down. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. Got him. This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. This victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Holy! Yeah, there were 2 Glen Elgs in Tribulations that day. The real Glen Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer, and the phony, acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness. They really went all out with setting up this crime. It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how could you explain the time discrepancy? Objection! Quite a performance, Trite. You were almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. I don't know what that means. What? Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phony Elg is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain, then, where the real Glen Elg is? I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at that time, the real Glen Elg was already dead. That's certainly the obvious conclusion. Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. What? Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? The missing corpse? I don't know. According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glen Elg, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? That I do not know. The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body? Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, Trite. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden. It's not looking good. Evidence? What's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden? I thought I had him with that contradiction, but he's turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead. Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the real Mr. Elg concealed? Was it in Tribulations, or was it outside of Tribulations? All right, let's think for a second. In Tribulations? outside of Tribien. Assuming the actual murder took place when Maggie was there, and considering that Furio Tigre was likely there as well, I would be inclined to believe that it occurred outside of Tribien. I would think that Furio took the body away. I don't have any evidence that would point to them keeping the body in Tribien unless it's in the kitchen somewhere. But that seems really reckless. That would be really reckless. Meet with the tiger. The virus. Had a great Val game, but a 4-piece. Still no ace. No! Did you at least win? Winning's the big one. Did you at least win? Matches used for advertising? They didn't burn the body, did they? I'm gonna say it was outside Tribien. Clearly, there's no place to hide a body inside. Therefore, the killer must have hauled the body outside. What did I miss? I was barely listening. There's a fake Glen Elg. They staged his death for Victor Kudo so that Victor would see something that didn't happen. But Glen Elg had already died at that point. They staged his death. Nice supposition. But the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was taken out of the restaurant? God, you guys want a lot of evidence. Where's the evidence that this didn't happen, huh? An article from December 5th. The job listing, no. The lunch special, no. No. Jean's debt, wouldn't do it. When the incident occurred, I broke the vase. That wouldn't do it. The Tribien floor plans wouldn't do it. Maybe it's in the restaurant. Maybe I'm wrong. Died of potassium cyanide poisoning. A photo of the scene taken from near the kitchen. Okay. The coffee, no. The victim's lottery ticket, no. This wouldn't prove anything. This wouldn't prove anything. This wouldn't prove anything. Maybe this? Found covered in unidentified fingerprints in the kitchen. They took his medicine off of his person. I think I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. I think that the body's in the kitchen, and we know that because they found his medicine in the kitchen. Too bad. I don't think you'll ever grasp the real heart of rock and roll. What are you talking about? He means that your evidence is irrelevant, Mr. Wright. Yes, they took Glen Elg's ear medicine. Remember how... Can't remember if you were here that day, but there was this medicine bag, which was Glen's for his ear injury, but it was empty. So they said he already took the medicine, but then Gumshoe found this in the kitchen and ran some tests on it, and it's ear medicine. Come on, Nick! You've got to think it through, sorry. Start over or present? Okay, so we can start over, which is nice. I think this is where this is the one. I don't want to lose all that health yet. We're going on a very, very light health bar here. But I do think that I'm onto something. I really hope so. Okay. Here we go. I thought I had him with that contradiction. Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory. Where was the body of the real Mr. Elg concealed? Inside Tribien. It would have had to have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside. Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside a restaurant? You kidding? There's so many places. A giant walk-in freezer, perhaps? Perhaps you would care to show the court on these plans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Inside the kitchen, surely, right? I feel like there's kind of a lot of places that you could hide, especially if they have a walk-in freezer. Definitely in the kitchen. Or we could put him behind the cash register and have him take the orders. In the kitchen. The body was hidden here. I see. Nice supposition. But the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location? His ear medicine. Shout out Detective Gumshoe. Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? No. No. I have never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. The highest quality, only for me. Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright? Thanks for teeing it up for me, Your Honor. Interestingly enough, it was found in the kitchen of Tribulations. Quoi? But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication. What kind of medication? I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elg visited an, oh boy, otolaryngological clinic. And was given medication that day. You can't be serious. The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results right here. The contents of the bottle matched the prescription that was given to Mr. Elg. Glen Elg's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen? Oh! Yes, you know what I'm about to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Bird. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. Oh, we got him. Order! This is an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Glen Elg? Never. I could not do such a horrible thing. Whoa. Oh, Godot's the one yelling. Oh, he's pissed. Oh, he's downing the whole thing. Mr. Godot! The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. Brother, I can relate, actually. That's crazy. That's one of my rules. Do you have the slightest idea how many cups you've had by now? Then I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear? My H-deficient friend, huh? H-deficient friend? Je vois demander pardon. Please, you must hear me out. Oh, because he doesn't say H's because he's I see where he's getting at. It is a trap. Listen to me, por favor. Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor is Spanish. I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it? No. Absolutely no. Yeah. Oh, let's hear it. You've got one shot. Right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you. As does my gavel. Oui, it is clear. What do they always say in the movies? I've got a bad feeling about this. I got a feeling we've got one more testimony of his to pick apart. Very well. Begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong. The confession. It is true. I hid the body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me. I do believe that he didn't kill him. I do believe that. You were forced? By who? I've lost the plot. I will say, this is an unfortunate case if you missed like one stream because everything is connected. It is kind of tough. I cannot say or I will be erased. He is essentially in a lot of debt. And he owes that money to Tender Lender. And who owns Tender Lender, the loaning company? Furio Tigre, the fake Phoenix. That's who he was working with. That's who he hid the body for. And Furio poisoned Glen for his lottery ticket winning so that he could pay off the medical bill because he caused an accident with Viola Cadaverini. Let's try a different question then. When Mr. Elg died, was he really the only person at his table? There was another man. Is that so? Is that so, Gene Armstrong? I knew it. Maggie was telling the truth. You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright. There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer. Man kills man for money for hospital bills, and other man hides body because owes to the first man. Exactly. Correct. Correct. And they owe money, or at least Furio Tigre owns money to Viola's grandfather, who is the head of the Cadaverini crime family and like one of the most powerful men in, I think, the mafia is what it is. It is true. I hid the body in the kitchen. Did you carry the body by yourself? I carried him, and I carried Maggie too. Maggie? When she saw the victim collapse, she fainted. I could not leave her there. But why did you hide the bodies? A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. What man? Who was he? No, I cannot say. I fear for my life. He's really scared. You'll just have to put the words in his mouth, Nick. Gladly. You're right. If he won't tell me, I'll tell him. But why would you go along with this man? I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. And what reason would that be, Mr. Armstrong? You know, monsieur. Yes. Surely you cannot expect a young maiden to talk about such an embarrassment. A maiden? You're a bit old to get away with that. I can't finish the cross-examination without establishing his reason, so I'll just have to prove it with evidence. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me. So, you're claiming that all you did was hide the bodies, is that correct? That's right. If we are to believe you, Mr. Armstrong, you must tell the court everything. You must make clear the identity of the man who ordered you to do this. He's already confessed this much. He might as well stop dancing around the real issue. Yeah, but he really doesn't want to tell us who the killer is. Then sock it to him, Nick. Get him! That's not a bad idea. A man forced me to do it. Who was that man? But Furio Tigre. Let's end this dance of Ring Around the Rosie, Mr. Armstrong. This is the man that you've been referring to. Huh? Who is that? You just saw... What do you mean, who is that? You just saw this guy in court a couple days ago and thought it was me. What are you talking about? You know who this is. I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Yeah, no shit. Oh, I don't know. Maybe a month ago in this very courtroom? Oh, it was a month. All right, Your Honor. That's a pretty long time frame. I'll give you a pass. This man is Furio Tigre. He's the manager of a loan office called Tender Lender. There's no point trying to hide the truth anymore, Mr. Armstrong. I know you couldn't go against Mr. Tigre, at least not while he had this on you. Your loan contract. A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you. Oui, it is as you say. Mr. Armstrong, Le Tiger. He told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting the victim to demand that he repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to. I had no choice. I carried the body and the inconscient Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I'd seen. I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre. Do-do-do-do. I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison and the lottery ticket that were found in the defendant's apron pocket. Was that your doing as well? No! I knew nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it. I was not. It is despicable. Mr. Godot, you will summon this Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. This is a 3-day trial. Proceedings will continue tomorrow. 30 minutes. It's not a 3-day trial. What? The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. Not a minute more. How can he... Who does he know? He's so mysterious. How the... Don't sit back and relax yet, Trite. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way. Who does he know that he can get Furio Tigre on the stand in 30 minutes? And why does he have a connection to me that we haven't explored yet? Who is this guy? Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We will resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess. Well, that was a pretty successful part 1 of the trial. Did we get anything wrong? I think we might have got one thing wrong. That's pretty good for us, man. I don't know. We're on it today. January 8th, 1:21 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 1. Well, I hope the judge got his lunch. So we're finally going to see the tiger on the stand. We've almost got this case won now, Nick. I wish I could agree. Huh? When I cross-examined Mr. Armstrong just now, he said he was just doing what the tiger told him to do. But Godot picked up on it, remember? He pointed out that without proof, we don't know if what he testified is the truth. You mean, you think Mr. Armstrong was lying? I don't know. But if that's the line the prosecution takes, we could be in trouble. I get the feeling that we don't have the case-making evidence we're gonna need. Hey, pal. Gumshoe, are you coming? Gumshoe. If you come in clutch here, you will be a legend. What are you so jumpy about, detective? Your hair's standing on end. That's the pot calling the kettle black, little Miss Top Knot. It's not a top knot. Why is everyone saying it's a top knot? Never mind about the hair. Just calm down, all right? I can't stand still when I don't have a job to do. I kind of get wound up. Ugh. No kidding. You gotta have something you need me to do, pal. Anything. Well, hey, I'm gonna take a jog back down to the precinct. I could get some prints analyzed for you if you've got an hour. An hour? The trial will have reconvened by then. But Nick, we still don't have a really decisive piece of evidence, right? And if we can prove that the fingerprints on the bottle are Furio Tigre's, that just might be our decisive piece of evidence that we need. True. Without some kind of trump card to pull out of the bag, we're really stuck. You said you could get some fingerprint analysis done in an hour, right? You bet. In that case, would you mind checking the prints on this for me? If you're going back to the station anyway, could you find out whose prints are on this? Oh, hey. That's the small bottle I gave back to you this morning, right? Yeah, I think it's time we solved the last mystery of who the prints on it belong to. Sure thing, pal. Actually, that's been gnawing at me too. Small bottle given to Detective Gumshoe. I'll get this off to the lab right away. Just make sure you don't lose the case before I get back. Let's go! This is pretty much the final showdown, I guess. It's time to separate the phonies from the real guys. That's what I'm talking about. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. 156 courtroom number 4. Court will now reconvene. Mr. Godot, did you find this Furio Tigre? I even tamed him for you. It was a 3-cup job. No problem. Tamed him? The guy's name may be Furio Tigre, but come on. He's pretty lively. Be careful. He still bites. Very well. Please show Mr. Tigre to the stand. He does not look happy to be here. He looks pretty pissed off. Oh, he's very angry. Ah! Maya! Maya, get up! What'd you say to me? Nothing. I didn't say nothing, honest. Who could have guessed that fear would induce a bad Brooklyn accent in the judge? I got business to take care of, you hear me? So who the hell called me into this hole? Was it you, Spiky? No, of course not. It was the judge. Whoosh. Your Honor? Oh dear. I seem to have dropped my pen. Where on earth is it? Don't mind me, just carry on with the proceedings as normal. That's it. We're doomed. Maybe you didn't hear me. I said, who the hell was it that called me in here? There's no need to shout. We can all hear you. What do you say? There's no point in struggling. You're caught in a snare. The relentless snare of the law. I love his music. And I'm the one that hauled you in. Too cool. Don't let him get the better of you, Nick. Sounds good, Maya. You just come up when you're ready. Let's start with the basics. You know about the incident in question, correct? Incident? I don't know nothing about no stinking incident, Mask Boy. Oh, really? Because weren't you the fake Phoenix Wright last month? I think you know quite a bit about the incident. You mean you didn't attend the previous trial of Maggie Bird? Maggie who? I've got more important things to do than watch courtroom dramas. Of course. Well, perhaps you could give us your testimony then. Please, I can't get over this. Please tell us about what you did on the day of the murder. Phoenix Wright. He did me? You's the one who set this up, didn't you? You's gonna regret the day you ruffled the tiger's fur. Hear what I'm saying? Gulp? Maybe I should have brought a diaper with me today. Get a grip, Nick. From you down there? Me get a grip. The tiger's alibi. I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all of my time in my office. I got whales lined up to borrow cash from Tender Lender every single day. Yous want to check my alibi? Just ask Violetta. Ah, at last I found my pen. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination plea. Oh. What is it? Please, witness, if you could refrain from shouting like that. I know the kind of games that guy in the blue plays. That lowlife ain't no lawyer. He just punches away at stupid details till he wins. Stupid details? Lowlife? Me? Listen up, Smarty. Every time you ask me something that doesn't relate to this case, I'm gonna bill you $50,000, and you's gonna borrow the cash from me. That's one loan contract I refuse to sign. And don't think it ain't gonna hurt when you tangle with the tiger. Your Honor, is he allowed to make threats at me in the courtroom? I feel like there's got to be something that protects me from this. I love a good spectator sport. Just a minute. That's really not... This witness is... How can I put it? A hungry tiger roaming the urban jungle. Get on his bad side, and he'll bite everyone's head off. Yours too. Very well. I have no choice but to impose a penalty system here. You's better be listening. I said I got business to take care of. Big business. If I don't split now, I ain't gonna catch my bus. The court will impose a penalty for any irrelevant pressing of witness testimony. We can't press? Keep that in mind as you begin your cross-examination. What? I can't press? I can't press irrelevantly. Yes, Your Honor. You can do it, Nick. Thanks, Maya. It'd be really nice if I had some support. Come out from under there already, would you? The tiger's alibi. I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all of my time in the office. I got whales lined up to borrow cash from tender lender every single day. You want to check my alibi? Ask Violetta. I could press him on this. I don't think that that's irrelevant, but what I really want to press him on is this, because Violetta's not even a real name. By Violetta, you're talking about the Cadaverini families. Yeah, you don't want to cross them, or you's gonna wind up sleeping with the fishes. Once the Godfather finds out you's been dragging Violetta through the mud, he'll do you in. Sorry, I couldn't quite put it all together towards the end there. He said that just like Viola, didn't he? I get the feeling this might not be the right time to probe him about her. But I need to know. I think it's important that I know. I'm gonna press him on this, and then I'm gonna press him on one other thing, and then we should be good. Mr. Tigre, what do you want? If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail. Objection. This is a dead end, Trite, and you know it. Remember the rules. Pressing the witness without evidence to back up your attack is prohibited. As I said earlier, the court will impose a penalty for such behavior. Okay. Now then, Mr. Tigre, would you mind repeating your testimony from the beginning, please? My time ain't free, you hear? You's better remember that. If I miss that bus, someone's gonna pay. Well, you're gonna be missing that bus when you're behind bars. I don't know nothing about no murder. I don't buy that you haven't even heard of the incident that occurred at Tribulations. You's got a big mouth, right? You's trying to say I was in on some mob hit? Is that what you're trying to say? Where's your proof then? Evidence, yeah. Well, for an attorney to make an accusation in court, he must have evidence. That's from loan shark to lawyer, a beginner's guide, yeah? I see you're the studious type, Mr. Tigre. Very good. Don't compliment him. Ha! Why don't you ask him to represent you sometime, Trite? What should I do? Do I want to press him on it? I'm going to press him because I actually do have the evidence to back it up. He should know about this case because he literally was the fake me on the trial. It sounds insane to say it out loud. I'm going to press him on it. Mr. Tigre. If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail again. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. No more pressing. Ouch. Okay. I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Alright, it looks like you can press initially without getting penalized, so I will press the last two. Are you sure about that? We're talking about 1 month ago, you know. You see these teeth? That's how sharp my secretary is. Sharp? Is he talking about Viola Cadavarini? She writes everything in my scheduler. December. Mainly in the office. That's what it says, so that's where I was. That seems like a rather sketchy schedule. There he goes. What the tiger did all December isn't the issue. What's important is what he was doing on the day of the murder. So now what? I leave it. It's too dangerous to press things without knowing where they might end up. I'd better just focus on gathering information at the moment. Interesting. Okay, there's one more. This one. So I take it you get a lot of customers at your black market loan office. It's tough for the little guys these days. Small businesses are feeling the pinch. Bosses of companies like that want to get in good with me. I'm their best friend. I see. That's very admirable of you, witness. Your Honor, black market loans, I feel like, is not the route that we want to send people down. I don't know how admirable it is. Yeah, well, Tender Lender's motto is win through compromise, you know. Win through compromise? What is that supposed to mean? Compromise the customer to win. That's what it means. You got it? Are we just going to let this guy, even if he didn't commit murder, are we just going to let him walk away? I feel like you can't be saying this in a court of law. Is everyone here hearing this? With friends like you, who needs enemies? This dude freaks me out so much, right? That's what I'm saying. He's scary. You don't pay me back within 3 days, Spiky. I take what's due. And your stupid hair. Yous follow what I'm saying? But I'm not one of your customers. Should I ask more about Tender Lender or not? No. No. Should I ask about Tender Lender? I don't know nothing about a murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all of my time in my office. Well, that's not true, we know, because he was the phony Phoenix. We have an article from December 5th that proves it. But even more so, we've got an attorney badge found at Tender Lender. Made of cardboard and painted to look authentic. And that's what I'm going with. And it's not enough. Okay. Tough. Alright, let's try this again. The tiger's alibi. This one's hard. Well, I guess we could press on this one. Should I ask more about Tender Lender? Yes. Mr. Tigre. Oh, I don't think we can press at all without getting penalized. Pressing the witness without evidence to back up your attack is prohibited. But I swear I have it. Oh! Maybe I don't have it because Gumshoe has it. Okay. I don't know nothing about no murder. Says I was trounced. My client found guilty. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all of my time in my office. I got whales lined up to borrow cash from Tender Lender. You want to check my alibi? Just ask Violetta. Okay, you're gonna call me crazy. There is one thing that we didn't press on, and I think it's this one. I think it's this one, so I'm gonna press on it. And I know that that's crazy. I know that's crazy, but I feel like it's kind of relevant. What's important is what he was doing on the day of the murder. No, I'm gonna press. And if it doesn't work... Oh my god, okay, we can't press at all. Oh! No! It's essential that we establish the witness's alibi accurately. Wow, I picked every single wrong one to press on. That's impressive. That's impressive. I agree. The victim was killed on December 3rd. Were you in the office that day too? Maybe yous ain't listening. Of course I was. I never set foot outside. I had meetings all day with a bunch of cats wanting to do business with me. I ain't never seen that young kid before. I do believe the witness's last statement was important. Mr. Godot, if you could please. Mr. Tigre, the court asks you to add that last statement to your testimony. Don't let an animal beat you. Be a man, Your Honor. Ask him yourself. The day you's talking about, I was in the office too. I never saw that kid before. You didn't know Mr. Glen Elg? Really? I don't mess with the guppies when there are bigger fish to fry. What do you say, boss? Who, me? How's about I hit you with a fat $200,000? Well, I was thinking, is he trying to bribe now? This guy is breaking every law on the stand. The Tiger's a really good salesman, huh? Yeah, and if I want to sell this case, I need to copy him. How about you hit him with a fat piece of evidence, boss? I wish it was that easy. Okay, so we added this to his testimony. The day he was talking about, I was in the office too. I never saw that kid before. Let's see. Never saw him. Glen's calendar. Yes, Glen's calendar. He had to meet with the Tiger. Mr. Tigre, you claim you didn't know Mr. Glen Elg, but it appears that Mr. Elg knew you. What? Mr. Elg left this little note on his calendar. Meet with the Tiger. And the date? December 3rd. December 3rd? That's the day of the murder. So, Mr. Tigre, I submit that you indeed did know one Mr. Glen Elg. Because on the very day of the incident, you met with him. Wow, from this perspective, he does look like Phoenix. Not bad. You's actually not bad. Sorry? I was just messing with yous to see how good you were. Your Honor, again, that is the second case of perjury today. We have got to do something. Did you hear that, Nick? He said you're not bad. That's one compliment I can do without. Plus, he's lying through his teeth. The only thing even close is hair and brows. His stature from behind kind of looked like Phoenix, no? He's got the same broad shoulders. You know what I mean? His are maybe a little broader. Witness, please remember that you're under oath. Lies will not be tolerated. You's calling me a liar? Is that what you're doing? They would never see his backside, though. No, never. No, it is impossible for them to actually be duped by this. Ruh-roh, Raggy! Ruh-roh, Raggy! So you're saying that your claim to have never seen that kid before is the truth? I said I'm dead serious. Yours better believe that's the truth. Huh. Then I'd say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. That is, while you testify for the court again, Mr. Tigre. Oh, yes. Would you mind indulging the court, witness? He never actually met the victim? That's gotta be a lie right there. It's time I nailed this guy. Oh, I can't wait to wipe that cocky grin off his face. The victim, Glen Elg. I ain't no liar. I never met Glen Elg. There was some lame guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, Tender Lender. I waited around for him, but he ain't ever showed. I ain't never been to that Tribulations joint, you hear? I see. That all seems perfectly logical. You had arranged to meet with the victim, but he didn't show up. I've heard it's pretty hard to keep appointments when you're dead. Very well. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Your Honor, am I allowed to press him this time? Am I allowed to do my job? Didn't I tell you I got a big deal going down today? I ain't gonna make my bus now. I'm gonna have to take the express train. That bill's going straight to you, right? Oh, I don't think we're gonna have to be worrying about that much longer, buddy. I ain't no liar. I never met Glen Elg. And yet, your name was written on the victim's calendar. Get that horse calendar out of my face. I'm the tiger, not a lame horse, you porcupine. Tigers like me eat horses like that for breakfast. No. Witnesses aren't permitted to eat evidence. Not that they ever would. Well, there was a case once where a young lad ate... Oh, that's so cute. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? That's so cute. It was when Phoenix ate the evidence. That's so cute. Oh, that's such a good callback. Anyway, if you had never met the victim before, how do you explain this note he left? There was some lame guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow cash from me. That's really strange. According to the manager of the firm where the victim worked and my girlfriend, December 3rd was the date he had to repay his loan. He wasn't due to discuss borrowing money, but repaying what he owed. Oh, yeah, maybe he's right. Whatever it was going down at the beginning of December. So you did meet Mr. Elk then? Hey, right. Yous might want to cool your jets a sec. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office. So your meeting wasn't supposed to be at Tribulations then? Why would I want to go to a dump like that? If I want to talk with my clients, I got an office decked out for the job. I got the best punching bag yous ever saw in there. I could attest to that. It's a pretty cool punching bag. Not exactly a professional office you've got there, you know. So you were in your office on the day in question. I waited around for him, but he never showed. He didn't show up? Huh. What do you think, Trite? Let's see. How does a dead man get from a French restaurant to a loan shark's office? And you yourself didn't go to Tribulations? What are you trying to pin on me here? Why don't you come down to my office? We can chat about this thing my way, yeah? I got the best punching bag yous ever saw in there. We already talked about the punching bag, okay? It's cool, but it's not that cool. Listen up. I ain't got nothing more to say except this. I ain't never even been to that Tribune joint, you hear? Murder. By the way, we're trying to pin murder on you. I think it's pretty obvious. Never? Not even once? Not even once. I was in my office the day that went down. I didn't put no poison in no kid's coffee, capiche? Do you think he really didn't meet Glen Elg? No, Maya, I think he absolutely met Glen. I'm convinced this guy's behind the whole thing. So you mean that whole testimony he just gave was a lie? Of course. So we can't afford to give him time to think of ways to plug the leaks in it. I've got to nail him while I still can. All right. What is... Doesn't Glen have a... Oh, I wish we had Glen's bill. Oh, it'd be so nice if we had Glen's bill. Oh, you know what else would be nice if we had the fingerprints on that bottle. Because him saying that he's never met Glen. But if we had the fingerprints on the bottle, we could say, then what are your fingerprints doing on his medication bottle? Oh, okay, anyway. I ain't no liar. I never met Glen Elg. No evidence points to that he has met Glen. Okay. There was some lame guy with that name wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office tender lender. I waited around for him, but he never showed. I ain't never even been to that Tribune joint. Okay, this has got to be where the lie is, right? An article from December 5th says I was trounced and my client found guilty. That doesn't put him at Tribune. The job listings doesn't put him at Tribune. The lunch special doesn't. Gene's debt. The owner of the loan is Tenderlander. Objection! I guess, okay. To be fair, I guess Gene Armstrong could have gone to him. In my thinking, I thought, okay, well, he did business with Gene Armstrong. He has a loan contract with him. So surely he's been to his restaurant. I jumped the gun a little bit, I guess. I ain't never been to that Tribune joint. The crime photo isn't gonna help. The coffee cup's not gonna help. The apron's not gonna help. Not gonna help, not gonna help. Not gonna help, not gonna help. Not gonna help. Not gonna help, not gonna help, not gonna help. Okay, so maybe not that. I ain't no liar. I never met Glen Elg. Can we call her in? Shoot, okay. There was some lame guy with that name wanted to borrow cash from me. We have to prove that he met him. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, Tenderlander. I waited around for him, but he never showed. I ain't never even been to that Tribune joint. What do we have that puts him at Tribune? This was found at the park, but it wasn't found at Tribune. Left by the victim. Nada. Has a large debt and prior convictions for theft. I waited around for him. Let's see. I ain't no liar. I never met Glen Elg. That's such a blunt statement. I feel like there's gotta be some contradiction somewhere. The owner of the loan is Tenderlander. I wish he said I'd never met Gene Armstrong and not I'd never been to Tribune. This isn't gonna help put him there. That's not gonna help put him there. That's not gonna help put him there. Found on Maggie's body. Worn by Maggie. Poison. Glen's prescription bag. Glen's calendar. Paper badge. Found at Tenderlander. MC Bomber is the computer virus. Matches used for advertising. Oh! Found lying in Tenderlander and their Tribune matches. That should do it. Objection! What? No way that doesn't count. Oh, come on. There's no way that doesn't count. I never been to Tribune, yet you have Tribune matches in Tender. Come on. I'm getting screwed. I waited around for him, but he never showed. Set a meeting up with the guy. I ain't no liar. I never met Glen Elg. And yet, your name was written on his calendar. If you had never met the victim before, how do you explain the note he left? Some lame guy with that name, though. December 3rd was the date he had to repay his loan. He wasn't due to discuss borrowing money, but repaying what he owed. Yeah, maybe you's right. Whatever it was going down at the beginning of December, so you did meet Mr. Elg. Yous might want to cool your jets a sec. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, Tenderlander. So your meeting wasn't supposed to be at Tribune. Why would I want to go to a dump like that? If I want to talk to my clients, I got an office decked out for the job. So you were at your office on the day in question. I waited around for him, but he never showed. He didn't show up. What do you think? He's dead. How does he get there? You yourself didn't go to Tribune? What are you trying to pin for me here? I got the best punching bag. I ain't got nothing more to say except this. I ain't never even been to that Tribune joint. Press him again. Never? Not even once. Not even once. I was in my office the day that went down. December 3rd. I didn't put no poison in no kid's coffee. Capiche? Do you think he really didn't meet Glen Elg? Not likely. Because I'm convinced this guy's behind the whole thing. So you mean that whole testimony he just gave was a lie? Of course, we can't afford to give him time to think of ways to plug it. So I'll have to nail him while I can. Okay. Maybe, is there anything in here? Waitress at Tribune. Was a programmer. Left eardrum was ruptured. At Tribune, called the police by payphone. Tribune's owner and chef, a large debt and prior convictions for theft. Granddaughter of crime boss Bruno Cadaverini. Okay. I feel like I was really onto something. There was some lame guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow cash. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office. Tender lender. Does this say where he needs to meet him at? No, it doesn't. I really wish it did. I really wish it did. Found during a body search of Maggie. Found a tender lender. Lunch. Viola's medical papers. The matches I feel like is good. I waited around for him, but he ain't ever showed. Here, okay, here, we're gonna walk through this one by one. I ain't no liar. I never met Glen Elg. Does the sports paper left by the victim prove he met Glen Elg? No. Does an article from December 5th prove that he met him on the 3rd? No. Does the job listings? No. Does the lunch special? No. The scooter? Probably not. Gene's loan contract? I already presented this. Well, it doesn't show that he never met Glen. When the testimony occurred, I broke the vase at my seat. Tribune floor plans, they don't prove anything. This doesn't prove anything, nor does the crime photo. The coffee contains potassium cyanide. That doesn't prove anything. That doesn't prove anything. That doesn't prove anything. Wow, there's a lot of evidence with Maggie's fingerprints on it. This doesn't prove anything. Meet with the tiger. Found at tender lender. Made of cardboard and painted to look authentic. MC Bomber. Okay, nothing that proves it there. There was some lame guy with that name, though, wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, tender lender. I waited around for him, but he never showed. I ain't never even been to that Tribune joint. I wish that I could just be like, yes, you have. Yeah, yes, you absolutely have been there. No backseating yet. Although I might. No Google yet. I never met Glen Elg. Things were going too well earlier. There was bound to be one thing that stumped me. Dang, I am stumped. The bag's empty. There's a note saying meet with the tiger. I really thought the matches were a thing. Ain't a liar, never met Glen. There's some lame guy with that name, though, wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office tender lender. I waited around for him, but he ain't ever showed. I ain't never even been to that Tribulations joint. But we saw her there. I guess that doesn't put him there. Was in Tribulations at the time of the incident. Dang it. Dang it! I feel like I'm so close. I ain't never been to that Tribulations joint. It's just such a lie. Did I put this on the wrong one? What? Okay. I swear I presented that. Hang on. I'm going back and looking at the VOD. Are we like sure? I swear I presented this earlier. Because I was actively not presenting it because I already presented it once. Hang on. I'm sure this is operator error. Oh my gosh. I submitted it. I'm an idiot. I submitted it on the I Ain't No Liar. I never met Glen Elg instead of submitting it on I've never been to Tribune. My bad. My bad. Well, I'm glad we got to the bottom of that. Shoot. Well, that explains that mystery. I'm counting that as not our fault. My stream, I make the rules. Because we caught this. We knew. We been knew. Mr. T. Gray, is there something you'd like to tell the court about these matches? Matches? What you's talking about? We found them in your office at Tender Lender. They're from that restaurant. What? If you've really never been to Tribune before, what was a book of restaurant matches doing on your desk? You've been snooping around in my stuff now too, wise guy? What are you, my ball and chain? Ain't no broad controlling me. Order! Order! Well, witness, I think it's time you started telling us the truth, don't you? Oh, he's mad. Listen, Your Honor, when you hand down your guilty verdict, you're not going to be able to run from him. You're going to have to do it with an iron fist. So you better start getting ready now, because I don't see this going on much longer. I'm terribly sorry. Forgive me. I ain't no pussycat. I don't go back on what I said. But okay, I was at the joint that day. What? But listen good, all right. I might have been there, but I still never met that kid. Well, well. Gulp. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony. I'm this close to proving it was him. He did meet Glen Elg that day, and he did put poison in his coffee. He must have. At Tribune. I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cop sirens on my way out, and I went straight back to my office. I see. You didn't actually meet with him in the end, then. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor. Hold it. Hang on, that's my line. You don't get to say hold it, I say hold it. If I wait around here any longer, I ain't even gonna make the normal express. No more stupid questions. Ha! No problem. Problem! Problem! We've got the murderer on the stand. What do you mean, no problem? Anytime Trite presses you on something irrelevant, I'll see he pays a penalty. Mr. Godot, that's my job. Your job is to slam that little hammer of yours and call a guilty verdict. So do it. Yes, sir. The Special Express ain't cheap, right? Just so yous know since yous paying. Oh, man. Doesn't the rule of law mean anything around here? Not in this case, Phoenix. Not in this case. At Tribune. Cross-examination. I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. So the meeting wasn't due to take place at Tender Lender at all then. The kid was making a fuss about coming into the office. It's always that way when I want to talk about repayments. Even though I got the best punching bag you've ever seen if there are any issues. Maybe it's because of the punching bag that people are scared to come. So that's why you decided to meet at Tribune. Objection! Ha! You're going over old ground again, Trite. Sorry. You just earned yourself a penalty. Now suck it down. You will suck down the penalty, Mr. Wright, and you will like it. Okay, I guess I kind of thought that it was going to be like the last case, or the last time we did this, where if you pressed, you just couldn't press any further. But it appears you can't press at all now. Okay, well that changes how we're going to approach this. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw... Is there anything that we can present that we don't have to press on? I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cop sirens on my way out, and I went straight back to my office. Well, Nick, what do you think? He's running out of ways to avoid the truth. I need to press him fast before he has time to think things through. I've got to come right back at him with a contradiction. Be careful what you press him on, though, or you'll get penalized. Okay, so there might not be anything that I can object. I just have to pick the right thing to press. I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. Hang on. I just want to check the floor plans. How would he have seen him? I mean, unless he came all the way over here and then dipped, maybe. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cop sirens on my way out, and I went straight back to my office. Guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. I feel like this is what we should press on. But when I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly... I have to press him on this. Just because... And I don't know if the game actually wants me to take this route, but if you're coming in the door here, you can't see him. You can't see him. There's the divider here. I need info on it. Come on. You mean you saw Glen Elg's dead body? I guess I did, but I only saw him from behind. He was wearing some raggy bit of cloth he called a hat. And what time was this? I don't know. Huh? You know what winds me up more than anything else in the world? Watches. Round watches. I ain't gonna pollute my paws with some ticking henpecker. Out of interest, Mr. T. Gray, what winds you up the second most? What do you think? Square watches. This guy hates it. Don't tell this guy the time. Is this guy for real? Look, all I needed to know was that something bad was going down in that place. That wasn't a bad thing to press on, huh? I didn't get penalized for it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna trust myself. I think this makes sense. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. The question is, do I submit it here or do I submit it here? When I opened the door to the joint, I saw an ugly scene. I feel like either of them work. I'm gonna do it here. If he comes in the door here, there's no way he could see his dead body. Oh my gosh, I got it. That's pretty good. You're something of a loan collecting pro, aren't you, Mr. T. Gray? No one escapes the tiger's clutches. Well, I'm something of a lie detecting pro. And no one escapes the phoenix's clutches. I think it's time we got something straight. What's this, Trite? A new line of irrelevant questioning. These are the floor plans of the crime scene. You say you were standing at the entrance. Oh, this was the entrance! I thought, oh, this is the magazine stand. This is the entrance. So it was even more impossible than I thought. You say you were standing at the entrance, Mr. Tigre. From there, your field of vision would have covered an area something like this. Indeed, the witness would have had a clear view of the victim's seat. Isn't that what I just said? I saw the back of the kid's head. Unfortunately for you, that's not possible. If the court would think back, you'll remember that between each of the tables is a tall partition. Oh, that's true. Now, look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. From the entrance, the field of vision of any customer walking in ends here. Oh. So, from the entrance of Tribulations, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did see the victim that day, because you met with him. Objection! Wrong. Have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table. Objection! No, he shook his head fast that time. But the defense just proved that point to be moot. The victim witnessed by Mr. Kudo was not Glen Elg, but a fake. What? In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer, this is crazy, posed as the victim he had just killed and acted out a charade. That will do. This trial has gone on long enough without the obvious question being answered. Who exactly was this real killer who impersonated the victim? You say the killer murdered Glen Elg and then impersonated his victim in a performance for Victor Kudo. In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of this criminal to the court. Wait, this trial is certainly something. I like it. It's wacky, it's unbelievable, but it is fun. There's a lot of twists and turns. In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of this criminal. Who, are they saying who framed the death or who killed him? Or maybe it's the same person. Maybe Furio Tigre also framed the death. I mean, he could very well have done that. I'm going with him. Obviously, the killer's Furio Tigre. No one else could have done it. What? Well, witness. Now that's cute. You think you can pin this on the tiger? Maybe you don't understand. The tiger is the king of the jungle. So I dare you to say it again. Come on. You got the guts? You can't threaten me, Mr. Tigre. That's right, Your Honor. That's right. Put your hand down, or your foot down, or your gavel down. Put it all down. It's the defense. No. Pick it back up. Pick it back up. Don't pin this on me. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright? Sounds to me like it must be you, old man. He's got guts, I'll give you that. Mr. Wright, do not leave me to handle this alone. Ha. Perhaps I can end this embarrassment. Mr. Kudo, let's just go back over Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. The old man didn't see just the victim. Oh, no. The serving girl brought him a Javachino, but she put something in it. There's no question about it. She very conspicuously put some white powder in there. Was the victim he saw the real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains, he saw the accused put the poison into the coffee. Yes, it was the waitress who... Very impressive, Mr. Godot. Waiting for my absence to launch your attack. Oh, just how we planned. Found your pen at last, Trey. It was in my pocket. But anyway, Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glen, and the waitress from behind. Yes, your point, Mr. Wright. I think the conclusion is obvious. If this Glen was really the killer in disguise, then surely it's possible the waitress was also part of the show. What? You mean the waitress was an imposter as well? The defendant, Ms. Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her. Who on earth was it? Who was this waitress that Mr. Kudo witnessed? None other than Viola Cadaverini. Who is this woman? Her name is Viola Cadaverini. She's an employee of Tender Lender. You's making a big mistake. Do you know who Violetta's grandfather is? You better be going home in an armored truck tonight, if you know what I mean. Stop shaking, Nick. Sorry. Where was I? Yes, the defendant, Ms. Bird, has stated the following. When I took the coffee over to the victim's table, it's true there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy, and she had a kind of cackling laugh. There are just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table, who nobody but Ms. Bird seems to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when that eardrum was ruptured. And the radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There's only one logical explanation that clears up all of these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice, once for real and once for show. And, Mr. Furio Tigre, the only person who could have committed the crime is you. Oh, he is sweating. Witness, what have you got to say? That's cute. Sorry? You's all right. I could do with a guy like you around. What do you mean? Okay, I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have to charter a jet to get me to my meeting now, but I'm gonna give yous one more thing to think about before I go. Something to think about? You's got it all wrapped up nice, huh? Right. But yous missed out on one real important thing. But that can't be. I was in the joint that day, and I met that kid too. But I couldn't have poisoned him, you hear? What? Do you really expect us to believe you now, Mr. Tigre? Ha! What a troublemaker. Troublemaker? Looks like we're going to need another one for the road. One more steaming cup of hot testimony. Indeed. Witness, you will explain yourself to the court. I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Tribulations between yourself and the victim? Witness testimony ties to the victim. Yeah, I loaned Eld cash, about $100,000. That day, we was due to have a little chat. The kid had hit his paycheck date, see? So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten the guy when he starts screaming. Yes, I won $500,000. He got lucky, you know. Real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she'd done, everything would have been over. Okay. Now, I see that the principal amount you loaned to Mr. Elg was $50,000. Yeah, well, you's got the VIG to take into account. Interest builds up fast, you know. That's faster than fast. $100,000 is twice his principal. And the repayment deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question. Yeah, he was one lucky kid. He got that $500,000 just in time. So I ain't have no reason to kill the kid. And if I ain't got no motive, you ain't got no case. His motive? He has to have one, but what is it? I don't know what his motive is. I don't know. Yeah, what if Elg didn't win the lottery? What if they framed it? That seems far-fetched. I loaned Elg cash, about $100,000. Did he have any way of paying the loan back? The fool was a gambler. He said he couldn't give it up till he landed a big win. So I agreed to help him. Help him? You? I kept hitting him with ideas for ways he could get a big win. But the guy kept losing. So you were helping him for his sake or yours? Win through compromise. Yous help me, I help yous. What's the difference, huh? I don't believe this. Nick, would anyone really ever loan money to someone they thought was unreliable? Like, for example, if it were you, I'd only loan you $5 max. Okay, hurtful. Thanks a lot, Maya. That day, we was due to have a little chat. Kid had his paycheck date. So how much were you expecting him to pay back? What do you think? The whole package, $100,000, including interest. That's a heavyweight punch. Once a client misses a repayment, you call the whole loan in. You want to make it in my world? That's all you's got to do. And how many times had Mr. Elg been late with his repayments? Once. And how much was he supposed to pay back every month? $50. Sounds like Mr. Elg was in a real sticky spot. Life or death situation, and ooh, that's tough. At $50 a month, he'd never pay that huge loan off. Wait, yeah, he would be doing it for a while. So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up. How much did he have left on his debt? You want it in round figures? 100,000. The whole amount. We're talking about a guy who had 58 cents in his wallet. You was telling me he wasn't even going to pay for the coffee? He certainly seems to have been a brave man, this Mr. Elg. That guy was smooth, I tell you, real smooth. You'll have your money in less than 5 minutes. That's what he says to me. Wow, he actually was banking on the lottery and hit. That's crazy. The guy then calls me the tender tiger. He was skating on thin ice with me. I'm about to flatten the guy, and he starts screaming. Was that because the guy won the lottery? Was his last chance at a big win? And you can confirm that this is the ticket in question? That's it. The Millionaire Radio Show starts at 1:30 p.m. and runs for 10 minutes. That fixes the time you two met with some accuracy. And the whole scene was acted out again 30 minutes later. And that's what Mr. Kudo would see. I can still see the kid's face now. I ain't never gonna forget it. He got lucky, you know. Real lucky. Was there anyone else in the restaurant at the time? I don't remember. If there was no one there, I'll wear that ridiculous tiger shirt for a month. Mr. Armstrong, Maggie, and if I'm right, Viola Cadaverini were all there at that time. So the victim had intended to repay you for his lottery winnings from the beginning. Seems that way to me. But you wouldn't normally expect to win the lottery, would you? Ha! The undying belief that your next roll will end the worst losing streak you ever had. That's what defines a true gambler. He makes it sound so cool. Don't be tempted, Nick. You haven't got the willpower for it, or the funds. We're broke, Maya. All I know is, the kid took a shot and he got lucky in the end. If that waitress hadn't done what she done, everything would have been over. The waitress? You mean the girl with the glasses in the defendant's chair? Who else could I mean? If she hadn't gotten in the way, things would have been bada bing, bada boom, over and done with. We have the will, not the wallet, literally. Maybe I should push a little more on this. Ask about Maggie did. Ask about how things would have been. I'll ask about what Maggie did. What exactly are you implying the defendant did? How about you go ask Four Eyes about that $500,000 ticket? She wanted it so bad she poisoned his coffee. A likely theory. Your word hasn't held water lately, Mr. Tigre. Let's not forget, this witness was actually at the scene, Trite. The law don't exactly agree with some of the deals I send down. I couldn't be there when a cop showed up, so I split. Your Honor, you writing this down? You got this? Okay, moving on. Your Honor, the witness's last few statements are worth a good 2 cups of coffee. I concur, Mr. Godot. You will amend your testimony according, witness. So that's what she's after, huh, Phoenix Wright? Thanks to what she did, my business with that kid was over. Interesting. The tiger's trying to pin the crime on Maggie. If I ask him about what he saw, it's only going to damage our case. What do you mean things would have been over and done with? You's all there or what? Talking about the cash. I was there to get my $100,000 back. That's all. I'm a businessman. It was all coming together before that waitress got in the way. As far as I can tell from the witness's testimony, other than recouping his loan, Mr. Tigre had no motive for killing the victim. Well, Mr. Wright, are you happy with the testimony, or would you like it amended? I want it amended just to see what it says. I'm not going to get anywhere with the testimony as it stands. Your Honor, the defense would like the testimony amended. Witness, you will amend your testimony to reflect your recent statements, please. I was after the $100,000. I didn't have no other reason to kill the guy. Is that so? Is that so? I was after the $100,000. I didn't have any other reason to kill him. Had no reason at all. Except for the fact that you yourself, Mr. Tigre, are $1 million in debt. To the most powerful crime family, or one of the most powerful crime families in the country. So you just intended to get back the $100,000 Mr. Elg owed you, correct? I loaned the guy the cash, so that's my right. Unfortunately for Mr. Elg, $100,000 wasn't enough to cover it, was it? Huh? About 6 months ago, you were involved in a traffic accident. The real most powerful crime family in the country. Medical bills, if that isn't the truth. Holy smokes. An incident involving a car and a scooter in which a young woman was injured. She was taken to the hospital where she underwent surgery. Oh! Where did you get all this info? These medical papers document the treatment of the young woman in question. According to these, her operation cost $1 million. Payment for these expenses was due in December of last year and was paid in full. $1 million? A preposterous sum. Someone should sue those HMOs. Ha, no one would pay a bill like that. If the medical association got wind of it, the hospital would end up as dead as a morgue. But Mr. Tigre had no choice but to pay, because his very life depended on it. Oh! Order! Order! You say his life depended on it, Mr. Wright. Indeed it did, simply because the injured woman was none other than Viola Cadaverini. Did you say Cadaverini? Bruto Cadaverini, mob boss in charge of all underworld activities in the city, and doting grandfather to his precious Violetta, also known as Viola Cadaverini. Your life was in danger unless you paid compensation to the boss, correct? Makes sense. You were desperate to acquire the $1 million Cadaverini demanded of you. So desperate, in fact, that you decided to sacrifice Glen Elg's life to pay your debt. I wonder if the medical procedure was actually $1 million, or if that was the cost that the Cadaverinis put on it to compensate, to pay for the treatment and then some. That's the vibe I get. Order! Order! What do you say to that, witness? It's a nice little fairy tale, Trite. But even if the witness did need $1 million, that doesn't tie him to Mr. Elg's murder. Mr. Elg only owed him $100,000 and had no hope of repaying it anyway. Yeah, that guy wasn't worth my spit. I don't think so. In fact, the opposite's true. The opposite. Lending money with no hope of ever seeing repayment would normally be bad for business. But, in this case, the very fact that Glen Elg had no way to repay the money is crucial. What? Do you know where you're going with this, Nick? I hope so. I think so. You've got to think outside the box, Maya. Outside the box? It's really straightforward. Mr. Tigre wasn't after the $100,000 at all. It seems you have a logical conclusion for this theory, Mr. Wright. Would you care to share it with us? What exactly was Mr. Tigre after? He was after MC Bomber, and it's just a coincidence that he won the lottery. Glen Elg was a programmer, highly skilled. That skill was the collateral Mr. Elg put up in order to borrow the money. I see! So Glen's plan was to sell him the virus, the program. Care to explain how skill can be used as collateral to secure a loan, Trite? He had the skill to create a computer virus, and so he did. A virus known as MC Bomber. A computer virus? What does one of those do? A computer virus is a program that wreaks havoc on the insides of a computer. A computer? What does one of those do? I guess the beard isn't the only part of his honor that is from the Stone Age. I'll explain. We'll get to that later, Your Honor. Right now, this is the important point. A virus like MC Bomber would be worth several $1 million on the black market. Mr. Tigre, you couldn't have cared less about the $100,000, isn't that right? All you cared about was one thing, the virus. Oh, we got him. On the day of the murder, Mr. Tigre's sole intention was to get his hands on this CD. Glen Elg had no way of paying back the $100,000, and Mr. Tigre knew it. But then a miracle happened. The kind that Mr. Tigre would prefer to say never happened. But he can't, and neither can I. The lottery win? Exactly, because if he won the lottery, he wouldn't have to give Furio Tigre MC Bomber. At the 11th hour, Mr. Elg won $500,000 on the lottery, which left Mr. Tigre with no way of getting his hands on the all-important CD. At least, no legitimate way. Wow, so he resorted to illegitimate means. That's crazy. He murdered Glen Elg and then made his next move. To frame Maggie Bird for the crime. He died because he won the lottery? Isn't that tragic? That's brutal, bro. He would have been able to pay that off and had $400,000 to spare. Mr. Tigre posed as Glen Elg, while Viola Cadaverini played the role of Ms. Bird. And then they reenacted the whole thing in order to establish a witness. The witness being the one we all heard testify yesterday, Mr. Victor Kudo. Objection! Like I said, Trite, that's crazy. No one could pull off a stunt like that. For starters, there's no way the chef could have been kept in the dark about it. But Mr. Armstrong was in on it from the very beginning. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Godot? Mr. Armstrong owed the witness money too. $500,000, in fact. He had no choice but to go along with Mr. Tigre's plan. Oh, he's so angry. Order! Order! Silence, or I will clear the courtroom. Oh. Yous put on a good show, Spikey. If yous want to stay alive in the loan shark business, you gotta be careful. You saying I dressed up like that kid, created a witness, and framed someone? If I did something crazy like that, I'd leave a trail as bright as my shirt. I ain't dumb enough to do something sloppy like that. I agree. You do? Despite your appearance, you are really careful. That's why you took one more precaution. One more trick to make sure Miss Bird had no way out. Another one, Mr. Wright? Interesting. Why don't you fill us all in, Trite? What was this trick, you say, Mr. Tigre performed to frame the accused? I didn't save. We get one shot at this. I didn't save. Okay. What was this trick you say Mr. Tigre performed to frame Maggie? Well, by posing as me, right? That's what I think it is, posing as me. However, I want to make sure that I'm not getting anything else, or nothing else is skipping by. Worn by Maggie at the time of the incident, has small pockets but a big stain. A deadly powdery poison bears Maggie's fingerprints, found in her apron pocket. What was the trick you say Mr. Tigre performed? I don't know if making her hold the potassium cyanide is really, I don't know, a trick. I mean, it is kind of, but I would be more inclined to say that it was him posing as me as an attorney. Hello? He's gonna spit it out. Oh! And? What's the relevance of that, Trite? It's just a little intro. An intro into what? It seems all this has been an elaborate trick. Oh! No! No! No, Your Honor, we were just getting to the good part! No! She's saluting. I'm sorry, Maggie. I'm sorry. I hope there's not anything else that we have to... How far behind are we? What exactly was Mr. Tigre after? Oh, he was after MC Bomber. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I'll say my game closer to the thing next time. Do. That's crazy, I know. Posed as Glen. Poor Victor Gudo, everyone thought he was crazy. We'll get there, hang on. Wow, we covered a lot. Oh. Okay, this is where I'll save here. Perfect. Come on, get on with it, Godot. What was this trick you say Mr. Tigre performed to frame the accused? I guess not that. What was the trick? I mean, I guess I could say the paper badge. Or I could say stuffing this in her apron pocket. What was the trick you say Mr. Tigre performed to frame the accused? I'm going to try this, maybe? Oh, it is that! Okay, so I was on the right track. I just submitted the article about him rather than the paper badge. I just submitted the wrong piece of evidence, but I was on the right track. What on earth is that? What an insult to think anyone could be fooled by such a childish imitation. You literally were a month ago, but okay. Consider yourself insulted, Your Honor. Mr. Tigre, you didn't just pose as the victim on the day in question. A month ago, in this very court, you posed as me. What? That's the truth. But the witness looks nothing like you, Mr. Wright. I know! That's what I've been saying. Although, now that I think about it, It was you, wasn't it? No doubt it was you, standing in here this very court a mere month ago. The Phoenix Wright who put up the most disreputable, shabby defense I had ever seen. Objection! Can you prove that, Gramps? Prove the attorney who represented the accused here a month ago was this man? Are you prepared to take the stand and testify that it was him? Huh? Hey. Forget about it, yeah? I wouldn't do something like that. Not me. You made a mistake, right? It was someone else, huh? Have you no pride, sir? Oh, this is crazy. This isn't a matter of pride. In case you didn't know, Trite, here in court, we deal with people's lives. Mr. Godot is right. Your Honor? Speaking for myself, I am absolutely convinced. The attorney in question was the witness standing before me now. However, I preside over this court as the judge, with the vested power to hand down a verdict. Someone in my position cannot be swayed by a memory without evidence to support it. Do we have evidence? If the defense has no further evidence, the court will now excuse the witness. No. No excusing the witness. No excusing the witness. Gumshoe's coming soon. The circumstances surrounding Mr. Tigre are dubious for sure, but not conclusive. But we've come so far. You say he impersonated Glen. You say he impersonated you. But none of that adds up to a murder charge. You don't have a shred of evidence that the witness poisoned the victim's coffee. Yet. I don't have it yet. Ha. Sucks to be you, right? Don't mess with the tiger. You're gonna get mauled. You's got that. All we managed to do here was chase him around a bit. But I was so close to getting him to admit his own guilt. Looks like I won't be needing a refill. If I just had one more piece of evidence, and maybe I could get Maggie off the hook. This witness's cross-examination is over. You are free to go, Mr. Tigre. No! Come on, Gumshoe! Yes, let's fucking go. Come on! Your Honor, sir. Let's go! Wait! Gumshoe! Let's go! Detective Gumshoe. Sorry I took so long, pal. I staked everything on this. My badge, the works. So here it is. My heart's counting on this too. What is it, Detective? Isn't it obvious, pal? It's the final, decisive piece of evidence. What? That's right, Gumshoe. You go up there and you get your girl found not guilty. January 8th, 2:48 p.m., District Court Defendant Lobby Number 1. Sorry it took so long, pal, but I finally got the results from the lab. The results? About the prints, pal, from this medicine bottle. Do you know who the prints belong to now? Do you think I'm some kind of hack detective? Of course I know. So, tell us. They're the tigers, right? I knew it. You bet. Clear as crystal. All over the bottle. They're Furio Tigre's paw prints, all right. That's great. We've got him now, Nick. What's wrong with you? You've hardly said a word since Detective Gumshoe got here. He's laid everything on the line for this, Nick. I know. Look, I'm sorry. This is kind of hard to say, but it really doesn't make any difference whose prints are on that bottle now. Huh? Why not? Wait, why not? What we need to produce at this stage in the trial is irrefutable evidence that the tiger put poison in Glen Elg's coffee. He's already admitted that he met the victim. The fact that his prints are on this bottle, that really doesn't make any difference now. I knew it. Great. No matter how hard I try, I'm never of any use. Don't say that. Don't be so hard on yourself, Gumshoe. This was our last chance to help Maggie. And I've been working on some useless piece of evidence the whole time. It's alright. I'm a real loser. It's not breaking news to me, pal. No, Gumshoe! No, you're not. Maybe poison is inside the bottle or something? That would be clutch. That would be really clutch. If he poisoned his medicine? What if he poisoned his medicine instead of the coffee? Detective Gumshoe? Maggie, you've been working on something for me? Sorry I let you down, Maggie. I know you didn't do it. And I'm a detective. We're supposed to be able to prove stuff like that. I'm really sorry. I'll get out of your hair now. Detective Gumshoe! Oh, no. Wait. He's gone. Isn't there anything we can do now, Nick? I wish there was. Gumshoe worked so hard to get that evidence. If only there was some way I could use it. Small bottle put into the pocket. The victim's ear medicine covered in Furio Tigre's fingerprints. January 8th, 3:04 p.m. Coffee could have just been slightly laced to get him sick, and the medicine was what really did him in. Wait, Citrus, you might be onto something. Do you remember when we went to Tender Lender and Viola Cadavarini gave us coffee and then said that she laced it with something? And we didn't die, but at the time, I had a theory that that was only step 1 of the poisoning. Dude, wait, you actually might be onto something. Wait. I think whatever was in the coffee is part 1 of the poisoning, and then the medication is part 2, maybe. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. I granted you a recess so you could prepare this decisive evidence you've discovered. Yes. Don't keep us all in suspense, Troy. Show us. Naturally, we can assume it's evidence that will actually stand up in court, can't we? Think, Phoenix. Don't let Gumshoe's hard work go to waste. How much more of my time are you gonna waste? I ain't been to no court before, but yous lawyers sure know how to blow things out of proportion. No doubt, given the nature of the evidence, it will speak for itself. Nevertheless, you will talk us through it, Mr. Wright. Well, I know I can't prove anything with this new evidence. I'm really backed into a corner here, but maybe if he thinks he's got me beat, he'll let his guard down a bit. Don't keep us waiting any longer, Mr. Wright. Present this final decisive piece of evidence to the court. Gulp. This is the defense's final piece of evidence. Isn't that the victim's... Your Honor. Naturally, the court is already aware of the contents of this bottle. However, interesting new information has come to light. We have clearly identified some fingerprints on it. Fingerprints belonging to you, Mr. Tigre. What? But, Mr. Wright, what conclusion are you hoping to draw from this new information? Everyone in here knows what this bottle contains, except one man. One person in this courtroom should theoretically be in the dark. My prints are on that pansy-looking bottle? Is that what you're saying? Well, what the hell's in it anyway? Oh? A phony trial, a phony lawyer, and phony clues. Everything about this case has been phony. Seems like the perfect excuse for some phony evidence. Mr. Tigre, this is the decisive piece of evidence that will prove your guilt. Why? Because it contains Mr. Armstrong's oils, the victim's ear medicine, potassium cyanide. This is the actual answer. But if we're going to try and present maybe a little bit of phony evidence, what if it contains potassium cyanide? This bottle contains potassium cyanide. potassium cyanide. The poison used to murder Mr. Elg, Your Honor. The victim's killer used this very bottle. And on this bottle, Mr. Tigre, we found your fingerprints. Well, how do you explain that? Ha ha ha! You'd make a good clown, you know that? What? Yous ain't never gonna get this to stick. You're just making me laugh now. You think a cheap bluff like that's gonna fool the tiger? A bluff? I can see straight through you, Phoenix Wright. That ain't the bottle with cyanide in it. No, this is the bottle we found traces of the poison in. Don't mess with the tiger or you're gonna get ripped to shreds. The cyanide bottle was brown and it was made of glass. Now how do you know that? Oh, he was on the last trial. That cheap piece of trash don't look nothing like it. How do you know that? Because I'm pretty sure that the evidence from the bottle, now that I think about it, wasn't in the last trial, right? It wasn't presented. Got him. At last. What? Why is everyone gone quiet? I said that bottle. Is this the bottle you're referring to? Yeah, that's it. That's the bottle the cyanide was in. But yous ain't gonna find my prints on that bottle. Don't let that cozy looking suit fool you people. That lawyer's just playing games. Tell him, Mr. Prosecutor. Tell that guy where to go. You still haven't figured it out. Don't you realize what you just said? What I said? What did I just say? You were summoned to this court for the first time earlier today. If you really had nothing to do with the murder, you shouldn't have known all the little details. For instance, you shouldn't have known what kind of bottle the potassium cyanide was in. But just now, you slipped up in front of every single person in this courtroom. You described the exact bottle used by the killer to hold the poison. Yous don't know who's you messing with. I'm the tiger. I control millions of dollars on the black market. You think I'm gonna let some jumped up suit get the better of me? Sure, the last piece of evidence was phony. But that's just what you deserve. The phony trial with a phony lawyer, it was all played out by you. The biggest phony of all. Bum, 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 bum. Got him. Oh. And I oop. Oh. What's going on? Did the lights go out? It looks like a blackout. Oh. Well, this is really funny. Well done, Trite. I saved my 17th cup of coffee just for you. Oh! Savor it. While you watch the police restrain your prey. Got him! I thought he ran too, I'm not gonna lie. I also thought he ran. Mr. Wright, you caught a tiger by his toe, but if this one hollers, he won't be let go. Now then, how are things going with Mr. Tigre, Mr. Godot? He's being arrested on suspicion of the murder of Glen, Your Honor. Fortunately for us, we managed to rectify a very grave error. Ms. Bird was found guilty in the absence of a genuine defense attorney. Yes, she was. And in the absence of genuine evidence. But the tiger made one mistake. Indeed, he very nearly got away with everything if it wasn't for that one slip of the tongue. Furio Tigre is a truly frightening criminal. Ha! The truly frightening one is that defense attorney over there. Godot. Well, I am now in a position to deliver my verdict. This court finds the defendant, Maggie Bird, not guilty. That can't possibly be legal to throw burning hot coffee to your court enemy's face. I'll let it slide today because he gave me a compliment. He was nice. He's a nice guy. I'll give him a slide today. That is all. This court is adjourned. January 8th, 4:10 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. That's crazy. I know. This was a fun case. Was it absolutely absurd at times? Yeah. But that's kind of what Ace Attorney always is to me, so that doesn't bother me. This was fun. There were a lot of twists and turns. We knew who did it, I think, in like the first stream. But it went a lot of places that I didn't think it was going to go. I actually really enjoyed it. I feel like that's worse than getting whipped. I would agree. Especially if it's a glass coffee mug that could break on you, it's pretty dangerous. I agree. Mr. Wright, I'm at a loss for words. Thank you, sir. Congrats, Maggie. I was so mad when Mr. Wright landed me in all that trouble a month ago, but now I feel like I can forgive him. Again, wasn't me. That was the tiger. Look, Nick, in the doorway. Gumshoe! He's back! Oh, guess I'll be heading home. Wait! Detective Gumshoe? Oh yeah. Congratulations, Maggie. Thanks. I knew you were innocent all along. Why didn't you say that in your testimony, then? Huh? Oh, well, guess I'll be heading off, then. See you around. Wait up, Detective. He just ran off. Maggie, why are you being so hard on him? He busted his butt for you. It's thanks to him that we got the medication bottle. That wasn't even of any use! But it's only because Mr. Wright used it so cleverly. Detective Gumshoe is just running around in circles. Poor guy. Poor guy for real. Looks like she still isn't ready to forgive him. Can't you put in a good word for him, Nick? Yeah, Maya's right. Oh, this is the second lunchbox. I should help Gumshoe out. It's clear he needs it. Maggie, you know, Detective Gumshoe's been really worried about you through all of this. I wanted to believe that, sir, but on that first day of the trial, he practically gave the judge a free pass to lock me up. He didn't have any choice, Maggie. He's a detective. He has to report the facts. He doubted me, that's why. He thought I might have done it. I've got to prove to her that Gumshoe really cares about her. I'll give her a little present to celebrate her freedom. Another lunchbox full of weenies. Here you are. A present to celebrate your freedom. That's a present from Detective Gumshoe, made with a ton of love. He said you lost weight and he was worried about you. Detective Gumshoe? I actually really like weenies, you know. Oh! Did you guys hear that? I'm pretty hungry myself, you know. The trial did drag on a bit today, didn't it? It was long. Is it okay if I eat this now? No. It's so cute. So, how is it, Maggie? It's really good. This is so cute. No burgers. We're all eating the weenies. So the case of phony versus genuine comes to a close. The false allegations surrounding Maggie have all been cleared up. And who knows, maybe a whole new chapter of her life is about to start. Aww. That's so nice. Episode 3, Recipe for Turnabout, the end. And now. Edgeworth is back? Like back? Oh, hang on now. Do we get a sneak preview? Do we get a sneak preview? We'll watch the preview. The girl. Let her go. This was Hollow's favorite case in the whole series, he said. Or they said. Shut up. Come closer. And I kill her. Sorry. But you're not going to get the chance. Miles does look very swagger in that photo. Is that Phoenix? I'm reading through the file of an old court case. It was the first case of my longtime mentor, Mia Fey. Oh, this was the one with... Oh! Terry Falls. That's funny. He fell. Charged kidnapping, murder, sentenced death penalty. Fugitive movements. After escaping, Falls met with and then murdered Sergeant Valerie Hawthorne, recaptured on Eagle Mountain about 8 hours after his escape. Her very first client was a death row inmate who had recently broken out of prison. That was a whole year before Mia and I ever met. Six years earlier, Mia Fey, first trial. Do we get to play as Mia again? Yes, she's so cool. I love Mia. Ugh, I'm so nervous. I feel like I'm gonna die. And this is where we are gonna end it. I won't let us go any further than this. I am pushing I'm pushing Thursday's stream up to tomorrow. I had something come up Thursday, so I'm not able to stream, but I will be streaming tomorrow instead, so look forward to it. This was a long stream, about 3 hours, so thank you guys for sticking around. I hope you had fun. I really liked that case. Apparently, this next one is a banger per Hollow and per everything I read. So I am very much looking forward to one more final ride as Phoenix Wright. It should be very fun. Oh, but that'll do it for me. I will see you guys tomorrow. I think I'll be streaming Overwatch, but not entirely sure yet. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Other than that, have a great rest of your night, and I will see ya.